still to come, the cause and the real thing. Now, Caroline Jones from Harpenden in Hertfordshire made the headlines due to her fundraising for Cancer Research UK. Now, she raised £70,000 for cancer research, a huge amount of money, back in 2015. She's got a podcast out now, and it's called What Have I Done? And she interviews other fundraisers like herself who've raised loads of money for charity. And she joins me now. Good morning, Caroline.
Good morning. Lovely to be on.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on. Tell us about your podcast, what you've been up to.
Yeah, so I just launched my very first series, Series 1, and as you say, it's interviewing 10 really ordinary people about doing something extraordinary, fundraising for either something that's really passionate for them or their heart takes them to. So really interesting stories, really lovely listens, and I hope it's going to make a difference to inspire other people to fundraise and really, encourage people to have a go at it.
It's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because when I was reading about you, I thought, we all sort of think from time to time, don't we? And we all try to do our bits, I'd say, for charitable causes or events. We've all, done a bake sale, or we've all tried to make a difference somewhere on a small scale. But what is the difference between, say, you and me, you going all out, all guns, and the people that I guess you've interviewed on your podcast? What, they're different. You're different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. And it is at the heart of my podcast. It's the real sort of that DNA of what drives people forward day after day after day. Some people, for example, Max Woozy, the boy in the tent, you might have heard of him.
Yes,
he
I have.
fundraised daily for 3 years without stopping. And there is, I think, at the core of it is a grit and determination that people have. I wouldn't say I had it at the beginning. I didn't know I had that inner strength in me, but I think everybody that I've spoken to has that in them. And I don't think people realise what they're capable of doing. I think the human endeavour is in everybody, actually. And I think it comes out when you're driven by grief or love or a real cause that's close to your heart. You sort of go with it. And I think they're the interesting stories.
Definitely. And do you think, and I think as well, you're right, that there has to be possibly some starting point. So whether it's a pain, it's emotion, there is something in there, because that was how it was for you, wasn't it?
It was, yes, exactly. For me, it was the loss of my mother, Mary. She had breast cancer and she passed away in October 2014. So I'm coming up actually to my 10th anniversary of losing my mum. And that was the turning point for me. I decided to fundraise for Cancer Research UK. I dressed up every single day for a whole year wearing a different charity outfit. So for me, it was relatively a light-hearted approach, but it was incredibly difficult. It pulled on a lot of my emotions. I had a young family, life was going on in parallel. And yet the support actually of my community, whether that was my local community, whether it was online, much wider, drove me and kept me going through. So I think there's always a start point. And the conversations I've had with all of these, my brilliant guests, it's that real catalyst. What's the point? And it's sometimes a loss. It's people just wanting to make a difference, driven. Sometimes they're thinking of doing something light-hearted to really ease their sadness. And sometimes it's just a call for help, doing something to lift their day. But somehow it just hits the wave of interest, and that's all it takes. It just takes that little bit of motion to push forward. So I think it's fascinating that really we're all my 10 guests were just really normal, ordinary people.
In case anyone missed it, and people in our industry will have seen you, because it really caught everyone's imagination, I think, your campaign that you did, Knickers Model Zone, which, can you explain to people, in case they missed it, because it was fun, even though it was poignant, but it was still fun.
Yes, I mean, it is a little bit early to be discussing knickers, but it is a word.
Never too early.
Never too early. But you know what? It was such a powerful word, because Knickers Model Zone, exactly, that is my Instagram account. And it refers to my underwear being new and being my own, but everything else, every single other element of what I wear is from a second-hand shop, from my local charity shop, Cancer Research UK. So for me, it was just a bit of a tongue-in-cheek title, but it did catch the media interest. And it was hard work. I know I sort of say I was just putting some clothes on every day and I was just styling myself up. But actually what you probably don't see, and what I was able to share in my podcast series, was the work that I had to put on every single day to make it authentic, to make it consistent, to get clarity in my message, to become actually my own brand manager. You know, you take on all these, suddenly you're taking on all of these different roles. It wasn't just styling myself. It was learning to take a really good photograph of myself and work out a good backdrop. And most of my photographs are either taken by at the time, my 10 or 11-year-old daughter, Mary, or by complete strangers, because I had to grab somebody in the road and go, "You don't know me, could you just take my picture? Please do it like this. Don't run off with my phone. Thank you." So it was just pretty much making it up as I was going along. But you learn, as I was doing it, I was learning a lot of different skills, which actually I think I pick up on all of my other guests. They were also doing that.
Is there anyone out of this series, your first series, that you think, oh, wow, that really stands out, perhaps a little bit, just maybe a little head and shoulders above the rest?
Oh, well, do you know what? I was really lucky to dip into the Just Giving. All of these guests fundraise through the Just Giving platform, and it was a rich pot that I had the luxury of choosing, and we worked together choosing these guests. They are all equally brilliant, but some that shine for me, for example, Max Woozy, young boy at the time, 12, 13, living in a tent, sleeping in a tent every single day for 3 years without a break. Incredible. And that shows the strength and the resilience, actually, of youngsters, and the ability for teenagers to do things just as impactful as adults. Leah Chowdhury, the first British Asian woman to swim the Channel. Amazing.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely amazing. I couldn't believe what it took to swim the Channel. It's quite incredible.
Yeah.
And then, you know, people like Spenny Olympics doing every single Olympic sport over the 17 days of the Tokyo Olympics, just taking on every single challenge. Incredible. I could talk about all of my guests. I love speaking to every single one. This week we just launched the Skipping Sikh. He taught everybody to pick up a skipping rope during lockdown.
That's right. Yes.
Become fit, and he was incredible. Yeah, pet portraits. You know, looking at taking comedy and doing sketches of pets, thinking it was just frivolous, but really connecting with his audience. And I'm so pleased with all of my guests. They gave a real insight, and I actually hope the charity sector lean into these conversations.
Yeah. Well, look, you've got your podcast, What Have I Done? Just before you go, can I quickly ask you about the MAD Awards? Because you were involved in that. Can I ask you about your experience and how people can get involved?
Yes, of course. So the MAD Awards, Make a Difference Awards, absolutely brilliant initiative. And that's about making a difference in your own community. You can go onto the BBC website, Make a Difference, bbc.co.uk, Make a Difference, and you can select the categories. The lines are open till the 10th of March. You've got some brilliant categories: volunteer, community, fundraiser, great neighbour, carer, bravery, the Green Award, the Animal Award, which I
know
love.
It's new for this year. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
The idea of animals in venues in this ceremony across the East. I want someone to wheel in a donkey, a few dogs, a chicken, you know. I want all of it. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm really happy. And I've been invited to be a judge as well, so that's really special.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Caroline, thank you for letting us wake you up on a Sunday for a start, and but to talk about your new podcast. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Lovely to speak to you.
Thank you.
For your time.
Bye.
Bye.